It's time now for our obituaries, brought to you by Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Childersburg, and in North Chapel in Sylacauga. Mrs. Mary Moore of Sylacauga passed away on Tuesday, August 4th at UAB Hospital. Funeral services will be today at 2 p.m. at Curtis & Son North Chapel. Robert Henry Arnold, Sr., age 90, of Sylacauga, passed away on August the 1st at the Colonel Robert L. Howard State Veterans Home. He was born in 1924 in Hanover. He moved to Sylacauga with his family when he was 12 years old and joined the First Presbyterian Church. He served in the U.S. Army and Army Air Corps, operated a business in Sylacauga, then returned to farming in Coosa County. That is Robert Henry Arnold, Sr., age 90, and the funeral services will be held at First Presbyterian Church. That will be tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Funeral services for Mrs. Louise Clay, 87, of Talladega, will be today at noon at the chapel of Miller Funeral Home and Crematory. Burial will follow in the Pine Hill Cemetery in Talladega. Miller Funeral Home will direct. Helen Marie Scales passed away on, her funeral will be today at 11 a.m. She was 85 years old at Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary. Brother Robert Barkley will officiate. Interment will be at Midway Memory Gardens. Funeral services for Mary Nell Meadows, 79, of Alexander City, will be today at 2 p.m. at the Radney Smith Funeral Home. Brother Randy Anderson will officiate. Burial will follow in the Alexander City Cemetery. Family will receive friends today from 12:30 to 1:30 at the Radney Funeral Home. Funeral services for Mrs. Yvonne Shivers Lewis, 79, of Kellyton, will be Saturday, August the 8th at 2:30 p.m. at the chapel of Radney Funeral Home. Reverend Steve Dice and Reverend Wayne Henderson will officiate. Burial will follow in the Kellyton Memorial Gardens. The family will receive friends on Saturday, August the 8th from noon until 2 p.m. at the Radney Funeral Home in Alexander City. Funeral services for Mr. Charles Aubrey Red Lloyd, 78, of Alexander City, will be Saturday, August the 8th at 10 a.m. at the chapel of Radney Funeral Home. Brother Randy Anderson will officiate. Burial will follow in the Hillview Memorial Park. The family will receive friends on Friday, August the 7th, that's today, 5 p.m. until 8 p.m. at the Radney Funeral Home. Funeral services for Robert Lewis Beasley, 51, will be at 2 p.m. on Saturday, tomorrow, at Terry's Mortuary Chapel. Reverend Johnny Smith will officiate. Interment will be in Knoxville Cemetery. That is Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary will officiate. Joe Willis Joby Hunley Jr., his funeral services will be at 12 noon on Saturday at the Bellevue Baptist Church. Reverend Timothy Caldwell will officiate. Interment will be at the Pine Hill Memorial Park. He was 56 years old. James Edward Chester Edward Jr., memorial services for Mr. James Edward Jr. Chester will be in Pell City. He passed away earlier this week. Burial will be held at 7 p.m. Saturday at the Pell City Civic Center Park, or the funeral services will be held there. Christian Memorial Funeral Home in Pell City will officiate. And let's see, we have John Ledford, who was born on December 14th, 1963 in Talladega. He passed away earlier this week. Miller Funeral Home will officiate. The burial, let's see if we can find that. This is written a little differently. And I don't think we have any information other than Mr. Ledford's passing. So that is our obituaries this morning, or those are our obituaries for the morning, brought to you by Curtis and Son Funeral Home in Childersburg and in Sylacauga.